Trades. I'm gonna run out of trades. Won't be long. We'll be gone. Double trade every week. We'll have 3 and 4 soon. It's gonna be fun times, right? But in this one, we have double trade, as I said, and it was obviously a must this week. Thank goodness for me. I've somehow ended up with 17 players having 3 Storm players. So, having Grant and also Chan. I know a lot of people have at least the 2, Pap and Chan, but if you don't have Harry, you should have been in a better position this week. But I think anyone who doesn't have Harry seems to at least have one of like a Tuapiki, one of a Jacob Gagai, maybe holding Wong still, potentially a Moses, obviously Cleary as well. So plenty happening along with Piakura. So I have used the 2 trades and I have traded Nathan Cleary. Right now for me, I think I've been pretty settled on this since team lists, I think. Yeah, finally a week that I'm pretty settled in. I've gone Keeney and Cleary. We're going Kai Pearce-Paul and Jamal Fogarty for my side. And it'll make a little bit more sense once we get into my team. But the main reasons, guys, clearly is that half position, Galvin is great, but having just Galvin and Hutchison with Strange as cover, probably not super ideal. So Cleary's going to a half, and that's going to be Jamal Fogarty this week. I've gone him over Brown just because I think that Fog can consistently get anywhere between 50 and 65, whereas Brown could be somewhere in the 40 mark, I think, with the extra kick meters up to a sort of a 70. It's a little bit too much of an up and down for me. Fogarty's still making some money. Brown has to go big this week to sort of turn his break even around. Could get Brown at some point, but Fogs is going to be my guy. He's also likely going to be, holding in this team for a long time. He does have a couple of weird buys, one in round 10 and then 14, I believe, but getting him in round 13 is going to be pretty helpful. The reason Kai Pearce-Paul is in the team, and let's get into my squad to have a look at that now, is because of my edge position. So I'm not super excited about Smithies anymore after that 33 in big minutes. It really just needs to turn on his tackles. Get that tackle number up to 45 to 50 and we're good. And we'll get him back to a 50-point scorer. It could happen this week, and I hope it does. But if it doesn't, the edge position is a little bit light on, right? So if I didn't trade in Pearce-Paul and I went for a mid or something like that, a turbo, whatever it would be, the situation I'd be in would be Smithies and Salmon as my edge for the foreseeable future until Piakura comes back, basically, because I'm currently holding Brendan at this stage. And Smithies and Salmon as my edges over the next few weeks doesn't sound too exciting. We could get lucky. We could get unlucky with that. And if Smithies is a trade, I'd have to bring in an edge. Where in this scenario, over the next few weeks, if I can at least hold on with this combination of Salmon, Smithies, Pearce-Paul, if one of them has to be traded out, I'd at least have the 2. And then hopefully by that point in the next 2 to 4 weeks, Piakura is back. And then I have some more edge coverage. Or, we could potentially have someone like Eli Katoa. We could go to a few options in that edge position if things pop up, obviously, there. So that's my main reason for getting Pearce-Paul is the edge coverage. Second reason is that I am able to bank some cash remaining, which is good. So I can make some upgrades next week. If Chan doesn't come back into this team, if we're not happy with the Strange Trebojevic, we can go to a Talangi and then potentially upgrade using that other couple 100K. Oh, it might be a little bit less. Maybe it is 150 because Talangi's going to go up a decent amount this week. So I wanted to get some locked in points in our edge position and then have a potential bit of cash left over to be able to upgrade next week with some of the duds in the squad, whether it's Chan, whether Smithies is ready to be traded on, whether it's Strange or Burbo that are ready to be moved on, whether it's Sam Hughes, Hutcho. There's a lot of options that could be moved on from this side, and that's where I want to give a little bit more flexibility to my side there with the 156. The next reason why for Kai Pearce-Paul is about his play. So we've got him at 549, which puts him at about a 40, I think it was a 39 price point for Kai Pearce-Paul. If he can get 61 in base, basically, with a little bit of a couple offloads, some tackle breaks in that, then that's awesome, right? Even if we took the tackle breaks and offloads away, that's 50 points in a base stat game. And it was a solid, tackles and runs game for, the Knights and the Storm in this one. Very different to that of the Eels and the Manly game. But if that's, in his wheelhouse, that kind of base, it's somewhere near a 50 mark. Very close to that, about a high 40s, I think, without the tackle breaks and the offloads. Either way, I think most weeks, that 40 that he got the week before, it wasn't great for him. Like, there was no offloads, nothing going on there at all. And he had a couple of penalties in that. If there's something in the attacking stats like that that sort of, base, what they call base power in Supercoach, which includes the tackle breaks and the offloads. In fantasy here, if we can get some type of offload or a tackle break, if we can get a try assist, a line break, which I think will all come eventually for Kai Ball, then he's going to be one of those guys that we're going to want in our side. So I'm getting him at 549, the price point of 39. He has upside into the 50 mark, I think, as an average, maybe a 41 week, a 60 the next, whether it's with a try assist, some offloads, tackle breaks, base stats. It looks like he can do that. His 80 minutes seems fairly safe, so that's where I'm at with him as well. Is that, Dylan Lucas in the 18 jersey now. He played off the bench last week and didn't take any minutes off Kai. Brody Jones is into that spot now. So I think at worst, if he does happen to lose minutes on a random week-to-week basis, then he probably sticks at his price and is a little bit annoying. But if all goes well, he gets close to a 50 score, has 150k in the bank, that he can go up, and he won't be playing Origin. So very interesting that I'm sitting with the two Poms that have come over this year in my edge position, and let's hope that they both score a 50 this week, or we get 100 between the two of them in some way, shape, or form. So maybe a little bit better than this 33 and 61 would be happy days. 95 to 100 between the two would be great. Great news, it sounds like Cotter is good to go, and he'll be fine fine this week. We'll see how Murray goes as well. So carrying those two guys, carrying a small, bit more of a smaller injury for Cotter. Murray's knee doesn't sound great. He's obviously the secondary captaincy option, I think, in the side, and then Terrell May as well. So for me, it's Murray, May, and Foggs as the options. I'm going to go with Foggs. He's been super consistent, very close to that 60 mark every week, 58, 60, 62. I think this week they're a good chance of knocking off the Sharks as well in their forward pack. I do think that the Raiders will be able to get through them pretty well, get to the end of their kicks, and potentially Foggs can get some attacking stats on top of that as well. But either way, it should be a close game. And I have 17 on the park, so that's all I can hope for this week. I do expect that with 17 on the park, unless Hines goes bonkers, he's probably the main one I'm missing, Hines and Turbo. If those two guys go bonkers, I probably don't make a lot of ranks. If they don't go crazy and they get sort of, let's say 60 for Hines and 50 for Turbo, especially when a few people are going to captain both of them. If Foggs can get 60, I think that, and those guys go, as I said, about par, then I'll make ranks this week with 17. Otherwise, it might be a holding week, which is fine. And we are going to have to find a time in the next bunch of weeks, hopefully closer. The main issue is going to be around that Bulldogs buy as well. Like for the Bunnies buy, I've just got Murray, which is cool. For the Panthers buy, I just have May, which is cool. Next week, I have no one. So hopefully over the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I can maybe save a couple of trades out of that, 6 to 8 trades that you can use over the 3 to 4 weeks. So that's where we're at. We do have that in the back of our mind, considering we've max traded each week, and that's something you guys need to think about as well. We get 44 overall, so 36 to start here, guys, and then 8 extra at round 20 or after round 20 there in round 21. That's what you need to think about with your side. Danny Levi is not someone we want long term, so leaving that bit of cash in the bank. It is a bit of a risk getting Kaipi's ball. I could have gone up to Turbo. If I traded out Piakura, I could have gone up to Carrigan, but again, that leaves me very short in the edge position. And if you're looking at other edges in the side, there's not a lot that you can play with. Obviously, Olakawatu or Hopgood, very expensive at that, but could be good. And then it's probably Bateman, Madison maybe that you might look at. Nat Butcher, a little bit. I think 40s he'll be at this point. Nanai obviously averaging 51, but yeah, not a real clear bunch of options. Curran will be okay, but minutes-wise we're worried about. Whereas Kaipi's Paul looks like he'll be close to 80 and should be a really good option for your side. So that's my team coming into this week. Let me know how many you've got playing in the comments if you've made it this far into the video. And hopefully it is a good week, so I'm excited for it to start. And now let's get into the head-to-head team. Okay, so we've also gone for a couple of trades here in the head-to-head squad, and I was going back and forth with this one, and I have decided actually to trade in Seb Chris, surprisingly enough. So I'm holding Cleary in this team. I'm holding Piakura as well, and it is Wong and Kenny. I'm also holding Tuapiki, so he's an interesting one at the price point. Obviously, if I trade out Tuapiki, I think I have just not enough. I think I'm about the 750 mark, and it's not enough to get Carrigan, who is my target up there. I do think it's a little bit short from Tohu Harris as well, which I should actually check that. I think it's like, I think it's 744 Yeah, 8k short of Tohu Harris as well, which would be my other option. So unfortunately, can't do that one. So at this point, I think it is getting an extra center / wing fullback. I don't actually have to. At the moment, guys, it's Wong and Keeney to Galvin and Chris. So yeah, missing Galvin last week was a little bit frustrating, but I did pick up Drinkwater. So looking at this side now, it's Turbo, Chris, Drinkwater, and then Pappenhausen in my wing fullback. Turbo, Sully, and Strange in my centers. So I'm playing around with this. I'm not sure if that's I'm still not sure if it's the best play. Let me know what you might do in this side at the moment, but I could go for just another position. And as I said, I could go right up there into the 700k mark, but I suppose if I leave this 164, I have enough to move around with with Tuapiki next week. If he doesn't come back and play, like if Chance is actually right on schedule, Tuapiki doesn't get a chance to play next week, then he's the guy to move on. And with 164 in the bank, that's a 600k player I can get to. But as I said, this week, like if I sell Tuapiki, I'm still holding Keeney and I have to try and get rid of him next week. But again, Keeney could go to Talangi next week. And the other thing here is if I'm leaving this trade as is with Chris, he's obviously my backup wing fullback, which we're happy days with that. He would be a starter in my centers, so it could be Sully and Chris, but it does give me a bit of room to move if I'm not happy with how Strange is going, if I'm not happy with how Jabojevic is going. They're the two trades I could make in this one. The other thing I could do, just to go early on Talangi, and I'm already playing one short here, so that would just mean that I still play one short and I could just go Blaze this week, which is something I'm thinking of actually now that I think about it, because I don't actually have the 17. It doesn't matter if I play one short in the wing fullback. I could just get Blaze this week and lock that in now, and that price rise, which is probably better actually now that I think about it. Let's make that trade while we're here and see how that one looks. So let's reserve. Oh, I have to roll back the squad. Boring. Anyway, we'll do that now. So yeah, Wong to Galvin, which would be cool. You guys can see how this goes now. Wong to Galvin, and yeah, I suppose it just gives you a little bit of a look into my thoughts on a sort of day-to-day basis here. That's for sure. And then Tuapiki would go to Talangi there. So we'll go back and fix things around there. And that's something you can do this week, guys. If you're sort of unsure on where you want to go, this next week coming, I have Drinkwater, Turbo, and Pap coming in. If there's an injury, I can change things and put in a Chris or something like that. But I suppose this week, the decision in a head-to-head team is to make money. And I do think Talangi can score the same as Chris anyway. So yeah, that's the play this week. Let's go Keeney to... Who's that going to be? Keeney to Tuapiki? Jabojevic, sorry. That's all right. Cool. Tuapiki can just stay there for this week then. So we'll go Keeney to Talangi in this side. So yeah, let me know. Are you grabbing Blaze this week? I think it's a good week to do so, to make some money. He'll obviously play for us this week, which is good. At least 300k in the bank with Cleary in the team too. So yeah, Tuapiki there, 457. We can do what we want next week. If we get an injury to a certain position, then if Chris has a decent one this week and we're like, okay, he's the guy to make money, then we can grab him anyway next week to cover in that center position. And it gives another week to Strange and Burbo to probably decide if what they're going to be, because they could be a secondary trade out as well in this side. So yeah, Talangi's coming in. Cool. Strange will go up. Easy as. We need Galvin to come in for Cleary. I suppose the question mark here is, do we leave the C on Galvin? Can we do that? What do you guys reckon? That would be fun, wouldn't it? Just doing that. Yeah, Salmon's going to come in as well. So yeah, I'll muck around with all this obviously, but I'm tempted to go for Turbo as captain in this side, just for a bit of a fun one. Let me know what you would look to decide on that one. Big Terrell's going to get the Vice, given he plays game 1 as well. Make sure you do that, guys. Anyone, if you got a Vice, that play them one of the early, if they're a top 3 pick for you, put the Vice in one of the early games so they don't, once the squads lock out, you're not stuck holding the bag if something happens to your captain. All right, so yeah, just got wing fullback out this week with Tuapiki, and yeah, the bench is full, so it leaves me 16. Unfortunate that I grabbed Wong after round 1. Bit of a shocker in the end. But 300k for next week. Let's make money in the head-to-head side. We got a good rank, so let's consolidate that. Keeping Cleary for when he comes back in round 7. Keeping Piakura for when he comes back from injury. And then we'll just destroy any of our cheap guys that are going poor and move them on. Tupanua, another one we could go to a gun in following weeks as well. But we need him this week, that's for sure, in his score. So that's where this team's at the moment. To be honest, I think my overall team will probably surpass the head-to-head team this week, given I'm not using the money from Cleary and trading him out in this side and leaving 300k in the bank as well. It's a consolidating week. It's trying to make some money off Talangi in this one and off Galvin as well. So happy with with those trade-ins to make some cash. They're the big money makers of the week. And as obviously overall rank doesn't matter too much as a head-to-head side, but making sure that you make the correct decisions on a week-to-week basis is something that, and not falling behind a week with price rises is pretty important for a head-to-head side. And I've done that the last 2 weeks and brought in guys late. Obviously, May 1 week late, got him last week. Galvin a week late as well, got him this week here. So that's where we're at. Let's make some cash, hey, in the head-to-head squad. And I've been winning my matchups, so this is a week where I can, just sit on the laurels a little bit, just make sure I get the cash and go from there, because I'm sitting second, sixth, first, second, fifth, second, third in all the head-to-heads, and obviously sitting decent overall as well. So that's the team. That's where we're at. Let me know how you're doing, and can't wait to see, obviously, how this week goes. See you later.